All right, welcome back to the Own It Show. We are live here with special guest Anna Wrona, who is a good friend of mine, one of our Own It Mastermind members, and now part of our team here at our company. And I'm so grateful to have her here. She's an incredible coach, an incredible human design coach, incredible person, and I will let her give her full introduction for herself. But I'm just really grateful to have her here to introduce what is human design readings, and so that people can start to live a life a little bit more by design. So Anna, thank you so much for joining us. You are here. You did a takeover on season 1 with Ali, and we're so grateful to have you. And I know everyone keeps asking about human design, so we had to bring you back. So welcome back for season 2 on the Own It Show.
Thank you so much, Heather, for having me here. It's my pleasure and my honor to be on your show.
Yay.
Yeah.
So let's share with people about a little bit about who you are, what you do, how you help people, and then we can get in the tips and tricks on what is human design.
Sure. So I'm a human design guide and a holistic wellness lifestyle coach as well. And I dabble in all kinds of things. So I look at the human as a holistic person. So we look at your nutrition, your mindset. We play with essential oils and herbs and all kinds of other things like movement and belly dance and feminine practices. So it's a really, really blessing. It's a big blessing that I have to be able to work with my clients. And the best part of it is the aha moments that they get when I give them information that resonates on such a deep level and transforms their lives. It's just so rewarding, so rewarding.
And so how did you hear about human design?
I was introduced to a lady from the UK by a friend of mine who didn't even know what it was. She just said, some lady's going to be doing some talk in this trendy little cafe in Toronto, and it has something to do with astrology, and I think you would like it. That's what she said to me. So I showed up, I listened to the talk. I was actually the only one there. Now that I'm thinking back, and I booked a reading with her because I was pretty fascinated with what she said. So I had my first reading in 2005.
Wow.
And then I started looking for people who knew what the hell I was talking about, because nobody at that time had known anything about human design. Okay, mind you, yes, there were, but they were all over the world. So there was nobody locally. And I'm from right around Toronto area, which is a pretty big city. I couldn't find a single person who knew anything about human design at that time. So it's been a long journey of study. And, I started taking online courses. I did some in person training over the years. And now I'm so blessed to be able to offer readings to people.
So ahead of the game, first to the floor in the human design here in Ontario, I'm sure. And sometimes that can be the hardest thing because you've got to break through. I remember when I learned neuroanatomy training and I was like, we are going to fix your ankle pain with your eyes. And Mama would be like, you're crazy. I'm like, but try it because it works. Right. And, when you're newer, you're breaking ground. People don't understand, but now you're actually, you have so much experience in it and people are looking for it. And I think you're in the perfect spot. And so I'm so excited to learn more about human design and the types and all the things. And I know there's so much you could share that we don't have enough time today. People have to come check out your upcoming master classes. But what can we share today about human design?
Well, I guess what I'll start with is just because you are a business coach, right? So this is really a good tool for business because so many of us are being taught to do things a certain way. And in some cases, that's perfect. And in other cases, it's actually going against our natural design. So human design sort of puts us into categories. Now, that's just on the surface level. So I don't want to put anybody into a box. We're all super, super unique. But you kind of break it down. Like in astrology, you have 12 zodiac signs, whereas in human design, you have different categories. You have a type, which is your energy, your auric energy, like how you interact with people before you even speak. Like it's the energy that you carry with you. Then you have your authority, which is how you make decisions. Basically, life is all about making decisions, right? If you make a wrong decision, it could cost the rest of your life. You're in a bad marriage, you move to a place that's not suited for you, what have you, right? Making decisions every day, we make decisions, and especially as business owners and entrepreneurs, we're constantly making decisions. So human design teaches us how to make decisions that are right for us. It shows us where in our body to listen for clues, so that we know that this is the right decision for me. Because a lot of times we think from up here And that is a big no-no. No, we don't use our mind to make any decisions according to human design. Even though school taught us, oh, I have my pros, I have my cons, what makes most sense. This is the kind of society we grew up in. So many of us have been conditioned to now live life this way. And this is what we know, right? This is our new paradigm. This is what we've grown up with. And now human design comes into play. And when people learn it and they're like, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to think my decisions. I'm actually supposed to listen to my body. What part of my body? I don't get it. How do I feel my gut? Where is it? I don't understand. So it can be a learning curve for people to actually get in tune and learn to embody this information that they get when they get a reading. But it's a lot of fun discovering who we are and going on that journey through every day-to-day life, right? Like it's not like you get the reading and voila, everything changes. It can change, but now you have to work with it. Just like any kind of mind shift training, you have to continually feed those good thoughts and to get rid of those negative thoughts. It's the same idea. Now you have to continually learn to make decisions this way instead of the way you were originally taught, right? Until it becomes second nature. And then once it becomes second nature, life just becomes so easy, in the flow, right place, the right time, with the right attitude, opportunities left, right, and center. It's just beautiful.
I love that. And Simon Sinek in Start With Why, starting with why, he's actually an NLP practitioner. And I love how in there he talks about how exactly what you're saying, right? We often make decisions from our logic or reasoning mind. Mm-hmm. And in the book, he even talks about the science behind touching on using your gut or your intuition. But when I start working with a lot of people, like you said, they're like, well, okay, that sounds great, but how? And then you're saying there's even different ways how for different people. Yes. And when you can own that way to tap into your intuition and higher self, it becomes a lot easier and life becomes more blissful. And life is so much more fun when it's ease, bliss, and harmony, right?
Absolutely, for sure. I love that, because sometimes we just need permission to be who we are, right? And not everybody knows who they are. And human design provides a map. This is who you are. Oh, you mean I'm not really competitive, even though I spent my high school years on competitive sports teams and told that I have to win and push myself. And then I got told I'm not competitive. And that was a cognitive dissonance for me. I was like, of course I'm competitive. You're trying to tell me I'm not competitive. So not everything always resonates in the beginning. But then later on, the more I sat with it and really thought about it, I'm like, no, I'm not competitive at all. There's so many great practitioners and coaches and human design teachers out there. I don't feel like I compete with any of them because I have my own unique flavor and I do things for a different reason because it's fulfilling my soul. Right?
Absolutely. And we have people there in the audience on Facebook watching. They said, yes, they love permission to be who we are. Love that. And it's so true.
Yeah.
And I like to say, we're all our own unicorn. All right. And we can't try to be somebody else. It's just us. And I truly believe there is no competition. There's 7 billion people in the world. The right people are out there that align with each and every one of us. And it's just making sure that we get our message out so that they can, connect with us and align with us. So I love that. And for so many people, they're trying to be who they think they're supposed to be, based off their conditioning, based off how their parents were, based off how their teachers or mentors were, or because that's how they were told to be, instead of intuitively feeling who they're meant to be and then owning that.
Exactly. And especially in today's busy world, not all of us have time to sit and figure out who we really are. Because that's an exploration all on its own. That's why I love this tool. It's like a shortcut. It's all written there in the chart. So it's blows my mind when I'm doing relationship reading with a lady and I'm telling her about her husband. And she's like, but you've never even met my husband. How do you know so much about him? I'm like, I don't have to meet him. I'm just reading his chart. And it tells me so much about who he is, how he operates, why he does the things the way he does, what's important to him, what's not, where he gets tripped up.
Imagine how better relationships would be if people could speak each other's languages.
Huge. This is like a love language on steroids. That's what I think these are. It's huge. I
love it. And so what are the types? You said there's different types and people fall under these categories. Do you mind giving us an introduction to what those are?
Certainly. Yeah, I'd be happy to. So The main types are, you've got your manifester. Everybody wants to be manifester, right? We're all manifesting with the law of attraction these days. We've got your generators. Then we've got your hybrid manifesting generators. Then we've got your projectors and reflectors. So what happens with a manifester? There's only about less than 10% of the population are true manifestors. So they're the ones who initiate action. They have this energy. I always like to say, do you remember the Looney Tunes, the Tasmanian devil? That's what a manifestor energy feels like to me. It's like they just come in and they're whirlwinding, and they initiate, like they stir things up. They kind of like change the energy around them, right? Which can make other people a little nervous, because a lot of people like, whoa, this thing just came in. What's going on? And so the manifestor, there's a few tips a manifestor could learn, is to inform people. Tell people what you're up to, even though it's the last thing you want to do, because manifestors just want to go. They already know what they're doing. They just want to go. Why do I have to tell everybody what I'm doing? Like, that's not, no, I just want to go. So there's certain strategies that we can learn that help our type actually perform better and help us not meet resistance in the world. Then you've got your generators and your manifesting generators. These are energy types, and so is the manifestor. But energy types, they make up probably 70% of the population. High energy people. So they're always doing, sometimes overdoing and overworking. And a lot of the times people are going to want them to come on board with my project because you have all this energy. I want you to, help me with this and help me with that. And really important for these types is to tune in to their gut and find out, do they actually have the energy reserves to say yes to these things that they're being invited to? And another thing is they need to respond. So they're being invited and they need something to respond to. Whereas they kind of have all this energy and they want to go out and manifest and do stuff, which you can. Every one of these types can go out and manifest in the traditional sense of the word, like create. Mm-hmm. There's just different ways of going about and creating. So for a manifesting generator and a generator, you're responding to things. You get an energetic something you're responding to, or anything from the outside world that you actually have to say yes to. And that's when you're using your energy to its wisest. And then you have about 20% of the population are projectors. Oh my gosh, projectors are lovely, non-energy types. And all this means is that you don't have consistent, reliable access to your energy reserves. So this means projectors get spurts of energy. So they get some energy and then they need a rest. And if they don't know this about themselves, they're going to try and push themselves to be like these energy types, because they're surrounded by energy types who are just like, in some cases, like chickens with their heads cut off, just go all the time. So the beauty of a projector, once they realize that they are projectors, they can learn to incorporate these rest periods and break periods within their day and their life. And then from those moments of rest, they can actually look out and start to guide the energy types. They're like the directors. They direct the energy beings as to where they should be best putting their energy towards. Because sometimes when we're in it too much, we can't always see it, right? Yeah. And then we have a very rare, beautiful type called the reflector. Less than 2% of the population are reflectors. And they're very, very open beings. They're very go with the flow. They're the ones who reflect back to us who we truly are. So they're just precious, precious beings who I honor. And they're actually lunar beings. They're based on the 28-day moon cycle, whereas everybody else is a solar being. So there's so much I can get into, but I hope I answered your question briefly about the 5 different types.
That was perfect. And I'm sitting here curious. Can I ask, what type are you?
I'm a manifesting generator.
Okay. I was wondering, I'm like, oh, it's so cool. But you totally could be a reflector. I'm like, you're just like, help people see who they are. I could totally see that in you. I could pull a few people out of my mind that I think would fit in those. But I love that. I'm so exciting. Of course, you're a generating manifestor. You're like amazing energy. And if somebody is wanting to know more about human design or learn more about human design, why do you think they should?
I think everybody should, from a very early age. I think if you have kids, you should look up their chart. You can get free charts online. They'll tell you the breakdown of what your type is, what your authority is, and what your profile is. Why should you? Because it gives you good information on how to best utilize your strengths and how to work smarter in life and not harder. Because once you realize certain things about how you operate on a physical level, wow, that's a game changer, right? You learn how to act and in this world in a way that the resistance is no longer there. You learn how to listen to your body to make decisions. And once you learn other people's types that are in your life, now you learn how to interact better, right? So all your relationships and the communication improves, and there's more understanding, especially in familial relationships or intimate relationships, right? I love doing relationship readings. They're just so profound on so many levels. The people always get so much out of them. And again, kids, find out about your kids, because certain children, if you have, like, my child is a manifester, right? So I had to learn a lot of different things. And I'm actually training him, like, ever since he's a little kid. I'm teaching him to just, I know you want to just go and run, but first come and tell mommy what you want to do. Okay. Like, teaching him to inform me. Right. Because sometimes, like, I obviously, if his safety is concerned, I'm not going to let him. But a lot of times, if I just know what he's up to, I'm okay with it. Right. And that's what happens with manifestors. If they inform people around them, usually the people are going to be like, that's all you're doing? Okay, no problem. Go ahead and do it. And they really release the resistance they have. Right. So there's a lot of little things we can learn about each other and about the people in our lives and about ourselves, that it's just priceless information. And again, information without implementation is just entertainment. So you get this information, that's great, but are you actually now going to apply it? Are you actually going to live your life in alignment with your design? That's like the most fun part, is checking in with yourself every day. Like, okay, I know I was supposed to check in with my gut when I'm making a decision, but did I actually do it today? Oh, damn, no, I didn't do it, but tomorrow I will. Like, just the journey that we take when we're living life in alignment with our design is a lot of fun too.
I love that. And so I know that you do human design readings for people, plus integration sessions and what have you, so that they can start to live it. Because
Yeah.
like you said, the information is one thing, but we actually have to implement and put things into action. And the fourth stage of manifesting, creating life, is the action. And when we can basically be given our roadmap, our tool, our blueprint, and we can actually start to implement that in our life and be it, versus just having it on a piece of paper, but actually integrating it into our life. I think that's so magical. So I know that you do both for people, and you're an incredible coach. So you have so many other tools in your tool belt that when you are coaching and integrating, you are pulling from all your tools of like 20 years of experience. So you guys are so lucky to have such an incredible human design guide if you are looking for a human design reading and how to integrate that, better relationships, more ease and bliss, more expectancy of abundance, because you will start to know yourself as someone who does what they say they're going to do, the way it's meant to be done. That's in the highest good of you and everybody else involved, keeping you in the flow. And then life just starts to come a little bit easier, which is so exciting, and the way it's meant to be. For so many of us, we are swimming upstream. We're constantly against resistance. And then we think that's good, because we think the harder we work, the harder it is, the busier I am, the more productive I am, the more worthy and successful I am, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah. And there's 70% of the population has an undefined heart center. And with an undefined heart center, all they're going to want to do is prove themselves. And how do they prove themselves? They work harder, they try harder, they make promises they can't keep. And then it's this spiral that they can get caught in, with this, I'm not worthy enough because I didn't reach this goal, but then I have to try harder because now I'm going to set new goals, and this cycle and this cycle. And if you don't know that about yourself, like, that's a huge weight lifted off when somebody gets that information and realizes, I don't have to prove myself to anybody ever. Wow. That's great.
and I don't need permission to rest. I don't need to
Yeah.
have an excuse to rest. You can't rest today because you didn't go to the gym. Actually, your body's just telling you to rest. It's actually time to refill the cup.
Yeah.
And as you're saying, as the one type actually needs that. And if you're not aware of that, that just burnout. And then we also lose the passion and love for whatever we're doing because we get fully burnt out. And I feel like a lot of people, if they don't know they need that recharge, they're going to actually just end up missing out on the second half of their life because they won't have the energy for it, because they will have just drained the cup.
It's true. And we can try to fit into, like, if you're a non-energy type, you can, push yourself to be an energy type for a while. But eventually, the more we don't listen to what's truly designed to, what our body's designed to be, we're going to eventually experience some health challenges, because every center is related to a different body system and organ and gland in the body. So on a physical level, ignoring who we truly are and how we physically operate is going to catch up to us in the long run. So again, your health is even at stake here, right? So it's more than just the manifestation piece and the giving yourself permission to be who you are and all the freedom that comes with that, but it's also for your own health and wellness, like physically, mentally, and emotionally, and even spiritually, living in alignment with who you were meant to be in this lifetime, because there's only one of you. There's only one of me. There's only one of everybody else. And even though I'm talking about categories and types, there's so many more layers, so many more layers. Like, human design is just like an onion. It's like a layer after a layer after a layer. You can go deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's what makes everybody unique, right? Is because we all have like just a different flavor of this and a different pinch of that spice, you know?
I love it. Absolutely. And when we can all just own who we are and stop trying to fit in somebody else's box, or a box that somebody else designed for us, that's when the joy comes back. And I keep saying this to myself. I got a fortune cookie and it said, happiness is an activity. And I was like, you're absolutely right. I don't have to be productive. I just be happy. Happiness is an activity. Like, you can actually, you're going to manifest and create more if you just stop trying to beat yourself up and be productive. If you just sat and just got happy for a bit, like, being happy is an activity. And so then I actually went for like an hour and a half walk. I found a park. I swung on the swings. I hung out with some geese. I stopped at my favorite store. I had my favorite dinner. I was like, happiness is an activity. I don't have to be productive. I can just go be happy.
Oh, I
Isn't that
love
a
that.
magical experience?
I love that. Yeah.
Because for me, I find, and for many people, we're probably those generators and manifestors, and we're running full speed, and everything has to have a purpose and be intentional and be getting you somewhere. And to actually just pause and be, and just allow happiness and joy to be the purpose of whatever is happening today, not the later outcome. It just allows us to come back and be in the now, which so many of us are not. And then when we're in the now, we get to know ourselves.
Yeah. Because I believe, Heather, our purpose here is to be ourselves. That's my purpose here on earth, is to be me. And your purpose is to be you, right? And whatever that means a whole bunch of different things, because we're all so multifaceted people, right?
Absolutely. The creator gods and goddesses that we came here to be, to create life by design. And success is only based on our own principles. So your definition of success is different than my definition of success, and joy and happiness are different for each and every one of us. So it's so important for us to discover, what does happiness mean to me? What brings me happiness? What is joy? And what does joy mean to me? And what do I need to do for more of that, so that we can truly start to just be us, but also do the things that bring us joy. Because I love how Abraham Hicks says, the purpose is joyful expansion. The purpose is joyful expansion. And Neville Goddard says in The Power of Awareness that we are in sin when we are not doing what we want and what we love, because we came here to only be us. We came here to master creation. We came here to live life on our terms. And the universe does not discriminate. It gives us whatever our dominating thoughts are, whatever our dominating frequencies is. And you're only not in alignment when you're not doing what is in your soul. But most of us don't stop to do the inner work to discover what's in our soul and what is in alignment with us. And it took me a little bit, but it took me a while. And I sat down and I made a new schedule last night, working on my new self-image script and all the things. And I remember making myself bad and wrong for a moment for how long it was taking me, and what a waste of time. You should be over there and doing sales or marketing. And I was like, you literally teach this, but the paradigm is in there telling me
Yeah.
like this isn't productive activity. But I know if we don't pause to do that inner work, that self-discovery, that self-development, that being the author of our own life, discovering and taking the moment to go, what do I actually want? What do I want my schedule to look like? What do I want to create this year? What kind of clients do I want to work with? How do I track that back? And actually sitting there to do that work before we go and get into action and do sales and all those things. And I literally teach that we have to do that first, and we have to take the time. But most of us don't take the time to do the inner work, to do the planning, to do the self-discovery. And we are just that tornado flying through life. And we get to the end of the road and we go, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. I never paused to reevaluate. I never paused for improvement. I just was doing. I stopped and forgot that we are beings, right?
Yeah, human beings.
And so I know how important this work is, but I know how much our inner self's like, no, this isn't productive. Go over here and take action. And you're like, but wait a second, what if I took those actions in the right way that were in my highest good and the highest good of all involved, and we could get 10 times the results.
That's it, right?
Instead of just going and going and going. So it is the inner work that adds the massive value and gives us the results and gives us the joy and gives us the happiness. And I just wanted to say to everyone, like even myself, who's been doing this for years, for decades, even last night when I sat down to do the inner work, the resistance, the voice was there going, this is taking too much time. And I'm like, well, if you don't do this right now, you're not going to get what you want this year. So you be quiet, right? And it's that inner Sally, it's that inner limiting belief, it's that inner ego that always wants to work harder.
Yep.
But I want us all to pause. I want us all to work smarter. I want us to work in alignment with ourselves. And this is exactly why I brought Anna here today. So Anna, what else could you share? What are some last things you want people to know about human design? Any value adds that you want to give before we head out today? And then I will ask you to share about where they can learn more about you and book their human design reading and get freebies and all the things.
Sure. So I touched on this earlier, but I think everybody just needs to know that stop making decisions using your mind. That's a huge, huge, huge piece that for it doesn't matter who you are in human design, there's no authority that we should be giving our mind. We should never be giving our mind the authority over our lives, because it's just a voice in your head. And like Heather said, it's either based on your paradigms or your ego programming. And none of those should have any kind of effect on our destiny, right? Where we want to go in the future. So if you're not going to listen to your mind, where the heck are you supposed to listen? Again, tune into the body. You can find out what your authority is. You can find out what all that is. I do have a recording, a free thing on my blog where I'm being interviewed and talking about the different authorities. So when you find out what your authority is, you can go listen to that, and that'll tell you exactly how to tune into your own personal GPS, use your own roadmap, because you have it. You're the blueprint. You are the blueprint for your own destiny. You just have to figure out how to read that. How do I decipher? How do I use this now? Absolutely. And that's the beauty of human design. So just, your mind is brilliant. It's a brilliant tool. But it can argue both sides of any story, right? So you can't rely on it. You can't rely on it for the important things in life, like how to live your life.
I love that. So guys, get into your body, follow your intuition, make decisions from your highest good, not your logical reasoning mind. As I was trying to repeat that to myself, because I think that needs to be on a t-shirt or a great tagline. Like your mind should have your mind. I want to use the word should, but your mind has no authority. There's no place for your mind to have authority over your life.
Oh, I love that. Yes. Yeah. That's like, everybody should wear that on a hat or a t-shirt or a jacket.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I love that. Okay. So now where can people learn more about you? Where can they book their human design readings?
Sure. So my website is called readmydesign.com. So READ, my design, DESIGN.com. There's a resource there. If you type in your email, you'll get a free 30-minute video where I go over all the different 5 types in quite a lot of detail. So you'll get to learn, you can get your chart online. It'll tell you what type you are. Then you can go get that video and learn what does that mean, and then start practicing and do it every day.
I love that. Oh, guys, make sure you go there. Make sure you check that out, and make sure you book a call with Anna, because she has the gifts to help you. And you can have the design reading, but the integration is the important part, and that's absolutely what she can help you do. Go deeper and deeper, peel the layers back of the onion, only to find another one. And guess what? You're never done, because you're only going to be done when your soul transfers on to the next part of your life. So there will always be a layer of the onion to peel back.
But in the meantime, we can make life more joyous and more in the flow, right? And more fun to be in these bodies of ours.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's start the journey. It never ends, because we're always evolving and growing. And the journey, let's make it joyful. Let's make it blissful. Let's get more in the flow so life can be more easy, so that we can actually be happy and fulfilled. And that's my most important thing for all of us, to live a life that we can live happy and fulfilled. Right, Anna?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's expect magic and miracles. Thank you, Anna, so much for being here today. I love you. I love your energy. I love what you're up to. I'm so excited for the gifts you have to share with this world. And guys, make sure you check her out. And she has so many more tools and resources. So make sure you go to that website there. I want to say it first one more time, readmydesign.com.
You got it.
readmydesign.com, and check Anna out there. Thank you so much for joining us on the Own It Show today. Thank you, Anna, so much.
My pleasure, Heather. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Remember, stay happy, healthy, wealthy, and we'll see you back next time.